Enjoy the show.
What up, what up, what up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to episode number 124 of Siriani Says Sports. I apologize for not doing the show last week. There was a little bit of a tragedy going on, and Laura and I know a thing or two about what happened last week, and it was very, very unfortunate. But anyways, new week, new chapter, all positive vibes. Anyways, I'm Matt Siriani, and the funny thing is, I'm wearing the same shirt that I wore from the last episode.
Come on, bro, take a shower.
I mean, it's a little bit of a coincidence. That's Ryan Barringer Jr., and he still got the same mullet from last time. How you doing, Ryan?
Hell yeah, long day. Bars, painting, podcast, long day. But I'm here for it. Hey man, it's Memorial Day weekend. Have fun.
Memorial Day weekend, exactly, and a good afternoon or morning to no, good afternoon to my good friend from California, Laura Antonio, also one of the co-hosts of the Talking Sports with Laura and Matt show. How you doing, Laura?
Doing good. It's a little gloomy here in California. That's why I fell a little asleep, you know.
Nice,
It's
sunny
okay.
and hot in Jersey. 60 degrees and humid. My favorite.
Oh, that's great.
Humidity, yes.
Anyway, we got a lot of stuff going on for today's show. We got the NBA playoffs. What a turn in the NBA playoffs. We got the NHL playoffs to discuss. We got a little bit of breaking news in the NFL. We got to go over the playoff trimester for Major League Baseball, and then I have a special prize to show off, and maybe a special guest to come for today's episode. Hopefully he comes on. But anyways, let's get started. We're going to start off with the NBA playoffs to begin the show, and let me just get the banner here. There we go. So the NBA playoffs, we're in the conference finals. One team got the sweep that they needed. Another team is still waiting in the wings. What is going on with the Boston Celtics? Where did they come from all of a sudden?
Where did they go?
Where were they originally? I'd never seen them play like this. But anyway, Ron, I'm going to start with you because, we'll get to the Lakers in a little bit and when Loro knows. Ryan, what's going on?
Jimmy Butler. That's what happened. Jimmy Butler. No, honestly though, you can't even say it's all Jimmy Butler because we've seen the Celtics, like you said, Matt, not be that dominant force we saw last year, how they kind of marched their way into the NBA Finals. I know they went 7 last year with Miami, right, in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Right.
But like going into that, they kind of marched their way through. And last year, I think that Miami team was better than this Miami team. But again, we can beg to differ. But I think a lot of it, Matt, comes down to is coaching, right? And I know people say like this is what Boston deserves, right? You can't just go through head coach after head coach and everyone be as good as the next one or even better, right? Like we saw Brad Stevens take this team to numerous Eastern Conference Finals. He goes up to the front office. Ime Udoka in his first year brings them to the NBA Finals. They fire him based off of everything that happened. Then they bring in Joe Mazzulla, right? And Joe Mazzulla has kind of showed what it's like in the NBA and in all sports being a rookie coach is sometimes like, everything doesn't work out. And I think basketball is one of those sports where you can kind of hide it a little bit just because if you have superstars all over the place, you can kind of cover up coaching, especially in the regular season. And that's kind of what we've seen with Boston Celtics do with Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, like all the guys, right? But I think now when it's come to playoff time and you've seen how Boston has been, just even going into the playoffs in general, how they had to go Game 7 with Philly, who they arguably should have lost in 6. But, Philly, Doc Rivers, that's what they do. Philly chokes. Doc Rivers is the king of choking. They 3-1 lead, whatever the hell he does. That's what Doc Rivers does, right?
Right.
And then now we're seeing them go up against Miami and Eric Spoelstra, who is arguably the best coach in basketball right now. I still think it's Spoelstra as much as people want to say Greg Pop. I think Greg Pop's still the best coach of all time, but I think Eric Spoelstra right now is the best coach in basketball. And I think right now we're seeing Joe Mazzulla get out coached. And I think we saw that happen to the Knicks. We saw that happen to the Bucks. And this is what Spoelstra does. The team may not be as good, but he's shutting down Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. And he's making everybody else beat him.
Well, let me ask you a question. In case for those of you who haven't seen the last 2 games, Boston has rebounded. Now it's a 3-2 series, and they go back to Miami. Now let me ask you a question. What has happened to Miami besides injuries that's as to why they're clinging to a 1-game lead right now?
What happened to Miami? I think Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown figured out how to play against them. They made adjustments, and they're playing like the superstars that they are. Again, like it is in the NBA, as much as we like it or don't like it, it is a star-driven league, and your success is based off of how your stars play. right? In the first 3 games, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown played like garbage, right?
Mm-hmm.
They adjusted. Joe Mazzulla, like he put a better offensive game in plan. I think Brown and Tatum have seen now what Spoelstra and his Miami defense is going to do to them, and they've adjusted. And again, superstars, this is what they do. Superstars come to play, and I think Kendrick Perkins had the quote on it. I think, but in the playoffs, you live and die by your superstars, and that's how you're going to win, and that's how you're going to lose. You see teams do that, and that's how the Boston Celtics have gotten their way back into the series and where they have been all year.
All right, Loro, now it's your turn. Boston came out of nowhere these last 2 games. And not only did they beat Miami, they beat the brakes off of Miami the last 2 games. Do you see any life back in this Celtics team, and do you think they can overcome a 3-0 deficit?
I think it's possible because, the way they've been playing. I mean, this team is undefeated in elimination games.
Mm-hmm.
I even thought this series was already over, but you know what? I think the Celtics, if they win tomorrow, which I think it's probably going to happen, we're going to have a Game 7, I think, on Monday. And I do think that we could see a Celtics and Nuggets NBA Finals. I mean, if that were to happen, I would go with Nuggets in 7 over Boston. But if it's Nuggets Heat, I would go Miami in 7.
Wow.
I think if Boston wins in Miami, it's over. I think Boston's gonna beat them, and I don't think they lose a Game 7 in TD Garden. I don't think it's gonna happen.
Now, for those of you who
what do you don't think is gonna happen?
I'm saying if Boston wins in Miami, I think there's no way they're gonna lose a Game 7 in TD Garden. I think if the Celtics win Game 6, what is it, tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
I think if they win Game 6 tomorrow, the series is over.
Yeah, I agree with you both. But let me ask you both a question, and I'm going to start off with Loro first. You see the way the Celtics play. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown have gotten their feet back underneath them. The Celtics team looks good. But what has Joe Mazzulla done over the last 2 games to really bring the Celtics offense back to life?
Well, I mean, if you talk about the adjustments that Joe Mazzulla's made, is because they're making their shots. And I think Jason Tatum is starting to play the way that he's accustomed to playing. I think Marcus Smart is stepping up as a leader, and I think that's why we're seeing a lot of juice in this Boston Celtics team.
Now, Ryan, I think you might know the same thing I know. This wouldn't be the first time a Boston team came back down 3-0 in a series to win.
Yeah.
For those of you Yankee fans, avert your ears. For those of you who don't remember, 2004 ALCS, Yankee fans up 3-0 in the series. Mariano Rivera blows the save in Game 4, and then Boston wins 4 straight to go to the World Series, and eventually they would go on to win the title.
Yeah. Thank God in this situation, now we have Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets, Maddie, because I'm going to say right now, I know we're going to get to this point. I don't think whoever's coming out of the East is beating the Denver Nuggets. I think Denver's winning the finals in 6. I don't know, dude. And I know people have been saying it. Jokic right now, dude, is the best player in basketball. I thought it was Embiid. I thought it was Giannis, but Jokic is that guy. And the reason I know he's that guy now is I know when you were watching, I know Laura, as much as it must have hurt you to watch, some of those shots that guy makes, those those one-legged fadeaways, the clock expires, this dude. I'm not gonna mock him, right? But he doesn't shoot his shot isn't pretty. He shoots like this. And he
shoots behind the back of his head.
Yeah, who is the player that bro? He literally does. He shoots like this, and it just goes in. And I'm not one to question anybody's shot, but it doesn't look right. And you just look at Jokic and he shouldn't be as good as he is, but he is. And I'm just it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense.
And Jokic has had a problem in the postseason over the course of his career, but now he's finally got his bearings back, and now he's playing like a man possessed.
Well, you know what it is? It's Jamal Murray too. Remember the last time that these two played together in the playoffs?
That's
Jamal
right.
Murray and Nikola Jokic. They lost to the Lakers team in the bubble, who they arguably should have beat, right? In the Western Conference Finals.
It's true. This is true, and that's a perfect transition. Loro, I hate to put you in this position. Western Conference Finals. This is Loro Knows with NBA Edition. First off, to start off, Loro Knows, Loro, What happened to the Lakers?
I felt like the Lakers didn't execute. I felt like that this team was exposed by the Denver Nuggets. We didn't even stop Jokic or Gordon in the interior paint. That's why we lost. That's the reasons for the losses, and we got swept. I was hoping that we would make an adjustment. If the Lakers, however, started Mo Bamba in the paint at center, I felt like we would have had a better shot at containing Jokic. But he got hurt. I mean, there's no excuses to that. But I feel like the Lakers can be really good next year. But at the same time, this is not really the. This is really the Nuggets just found a way to revenge on the Lakers because the Lakers have found a way to beat the Nuggets in the playoffs many, many times in the conference finals. But the Denver Nuggets really have earned. They really didn't. Whatchamacallit?
They earned their spot, the Denver Nuggets.
Denver Nuggets just were the better team, and wouldn't surprise me if they won their first NBA title in team history.
All right, that must have been really hard for you to say, and I apologize for that, Loro. Second part of it, this is sticking to the Lakers.
Bye-bye, LeBron.
After the sweep, LeBron James considered retirement. This is a big part of the Lakers offseason, keeping LeBron. Laurel, what do you think happens to LeBron after this?
I think LeBron, he might want to try to run it back with the Lakers for at least one more year. But I feel like that he's not in a rush to make a decision now since he's 38. He's accomplished a lot in the league. And we'll see if he decides to retire or not. But I do think he'll find a way to play with his son.
He wants to.
He may retire and come back. I mean, we've seen players do it. And just remember,
it's happened.
It's only one more year because now Bronny's going to be a freshman next year at USC.
Yeah.
So, if anything, LeBron would just take a year off, not really retire, just kind of take a year off. And then at that point, I don't know how it is because I know if you retire and come back, I think your contract is still there. Because the way LeBron did it, which is smart, is this is the last year of his deal with the Lakers.
Right.
So he'll be a free agent so he can sign literally with whatever team Bronny James goes to. Right. But if he retires, I don't know how that works. But no, I think unfortunately LeBron's going to be here for 2 more years, right? But I don't know. I don't know if LeBron retires. I think LeBron, what he should do, and I think what he will do is he's gonna wait it out. Like Laura said, he's in no rush. He's gonna wait to see what the Lakers do in the offseason. He's gonna look at this team and be like, are they better? Are we better than we were last year? Because they're gonna need to be better than they were last year to go as far as they did. Because I know we can all say this: the Western Conference outside of Denver, we all said is the weaker conference, right? We would think that Golden State's gonna be better next year. You would think that the Suns will be better next year.
Right.
You would think that a lot of these teams that didn't go as far as we thought will be better. So I think if you're LeBron, you're going to wait. You're going to see what management does. You're going to see how this team looks kind of around August, maybe September, and then decide.
And this is the last part of Loro Knows. Loro, what's the latest on John Morant? Because we've seen a lot of stuff on social media.
He's probably going to have an indefinite suspension because of what happened with his social media handles and all that, guns and all that. So I really think that I think we're going to see probably a suspension from him, but we don't know. I don't know. Who knows right now?
Well, for those of you who missed John Morant's latest chapter in what is a very, very disappointing off the court maneuver from John Morant, he posted on his Instagram and Twitter, he said, "I love you, Mom. I love you, Dad. I love you, my daughter. Bye." What?
Yeah.
First off, for those of you who don't know, I love John Morant. I love everything about this kid, but my God, what are you doing? And apparently there was a report that came out that said that John Morant was basically saying goodbye to Twitter or social media as a whole. Ryan, this is not the best way to do it.
But also, you don't say goodbye to that by having mom, dad, and daughter. Even if you're off of Twitter, you're still going to be in association with them. It's not like Twitter is your only way to contact them on. Like, you don't contact them through Twitter, right? So that's kind of like where I kind of see like a different perspective on this. And I don't know. I think like I wish like Ja everything for the best, right? If mentally he's good and everything, right? But it's just like it's just strange, right? And I know they're not the exact same player, right, Matt? But it gives me kind of like Kyrie vibes. It's just like strange. It's strange what he's doing. It's like why? I'm saying like this is like the stuff I expect from Kyrie because Kyrie does stuff like this. That weird. Kyrie's a weird dude.
Yeah, but like to the degree, Kyrie doesn't do stuff that literally concerns you. He does stuff that.
No, that is fair.
Yeah.
Well, concerns you in a different way.
Yeah.
What Kyrie
Like,
does concerns me. Yeah, just not like this.
Like Kyrie Irving concerns me in a different manner. This is concerning on a more personal manner.
Yeah, I
Holding
agree.
guns on video, saying bye to your family on social media. Like this is way more concerning because the gun stuff got everyone banged up a little bit mentally. But now you're doing this. John Morant could be suspended, like Lauro said. Like there may be an indefinite suspension coming, but we don't know yet. And I think John Morant really needs to seek help. And I don't know the suicide hotline number. If I did know the suicide hotline number, I would say, please, if you do, or if anyone out there watching this, or anyone in the world ever has the feeling of suicide, or you don't feel important, please seek help. This is like a PSA in an episode. Please seek help if you're thinking about killing yourself or anything dangerous. Please seek help. But back to the Eastern Conference Finals for a second. We're going to predict Game 6 right now based on point total. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to say my team that wins, and the point differential. So here's how this is going to go. Game 6 in Miami, I'm going to say Celtics win by 9. Ryan, you're next.
Oh, I don't know if you're going to like this. Miami by 5.
Miami by 5? All right, Lauro, what's your pick? Game 6.
I'm going to go Miami by 3, and I think this series will be over tomorrow, I hope. But if it's not, then it'll be a disappointment.
Oh boy,
Miami by 3, by 5, and then me Celtics by 7. So I have a Game 7 going on in Boston, and from there the Celtics.
See, this is so hard for me to root this. I don't like this because I hate Boston, right? As I should, but I hate Miami because they knocked out the Knicks. So go Denver.
As long as the Denver Nuggets win, everybody.
Come on, Jokic.
All right, so now we're gonna go to the NHL playoffs now, and my goodness, the Florida.
Look at Maddie, the NFL, the NHL super fan. Look at this guy.
I love it. I love the NHL playoffs. What can you say? But
Maddie,
anyway,
do you even know what icing is yet?
Icing is when you bring the puck down and no one touches it, and it just goes on the other side of the ring.
Fair enough. You know what, Maddie? You're learning. Fair enough.
Believe me, I know my hockey pretty well. So
but some of them are weird. Some of the penalties are weird.
Yeah, some of them are weird. And first off, let's just start off by praising the Florida Panthers for a second when we start this segment. My goodness, where is this getting this from? Where are they getting this from?
Can I say something about that first?
Go ahead.
So now we've seen it's a reoccurring thing, right? And I said it when the Boston Bruins got knocked out. The King's curse is the thing, right? And the Panthers have now rebounded from that. Because here's my thing: is you say where do they come from? They never went anywhere. Just a year ago, this was the best team in hockey.
Yeah,
this was a team that had the number 1 seed in the East, right, and won the King's Cup last year. So they didn't go anywhere, or the King's Trophy, sorry, whatever it is. They didn't go anywhere. They were just kind of lying dormant, waiting for their time to come out. And I think, Maddie, that's what it is. I think I understand what you're saying where they came out of nowhere, but it was never the talent. It was when are they gonna turn it on? When are they all gonna click? And I think now we're seeing once they all click, they're the same team that we saw last year. They may even be better. But no, dude, they are legit. They're good.
Well, there's one element that they didn't have last year that really makes them unstoppable now, and his name is Matthew Tkachuk. He has been sensational throughout this playoff. He leads the Panthers with 9 goals this postseason. He had a crazy game-winning goal against the Hurricanes in Game 4 with 4 seconds left. That was
crazy.
That was nuts. I couldn't believe that. So he did that. He had 2 goals in that game, actually. He won Game 2 of that series in overtime. He won Game 1 of that series in overtime. He had 5 goals in the Boston series. So it was quiet in the Maple Leaf series. But my God, this Panthers team as a whole, I just can't believe what I'm seeing. Like everyone's contributing in a good way, shape, or form. And also Sergei Bobrovsky has been awesome too. There was a point where he was taking 111 shots and he saved 110 of them. There's a stretch where he did that. Now, game 4, he had a little bit of a setback. He allowed 3 goals, but my God, he's been on point this whole postseason. And the crazy thing is, like, he's a veteran in this league. Like, you never would think that this Panthers team would go the ways would go in this direction because of where they were last year with the President's Trophy, and there's the curse about it. But Tkachuk and Bobrovsky are like the 2 catalysts for why this team is so good. And I love this underdog story. And for those of you who don't know, they were the worst team in the playoffs, and the Calgary Flames, who are from the Western Conference, had more points in the regular season than the Florida Panthers did. So they're 17th of 32 teams, and they made the postseason, and they're going to the Stanley Cup Finals.
Like I said, they were just in hibernation, waiting for their time to strike. Imagine that time is now. And I don't know, dude. Between them and Vegas, I don't know who I think is better, but I think right now, if the Panthers are playing the way they're playing, I don't think Vegas has a chance.
Well, I gotta give you some stats on the Florida Panthers, and listen to this. And this is gonna be a debate question, I think, for all 3 of us, if you're okay with that. Panthers were down 3-1 to Boston in the first series. They've racked up 11 of 12 games where they've won. 9 of those 11 games that they won came by 1 score. 6 of those 9 games went to overtime, and they won. So let me ask you this, Ryan. Are the Panthers just straight out lucky, or are they clutch?
They got the ice. Because literally ice, right? Hockey ice, right? But no, I think they're clutch, right? But I think because you know what it comes down to, right? In the NHL, right, is your ability to close, right? And I think what they've shown, right, and it's different than it is in football. I think in hockey, because one man can kind of do more in hockey than you can in football. And I think, like you said, the Panthers have at this point keeping the games close and then have relied on their superstars to win in the game. And that's what they've been doing. And I don't know how, if you can say it's total luck. I just think I think it just comes down to they're keeping it close and then their guys are just doing what they got to do to close it out.
Okay. I'm going to go with the Panthers are just flat out clutch because a game-winning goal with 4 seconds left, 6-0 in overtime games, as mentioned before. You're winning by 1 goal in a lot of your games. But the fact that you can pull off victories out of the hat late in games, that's just being clutch. I know a lot of people say, well, they're just lucky. You know, they've got the puck to slide their way a couple times. But Matthew Tkachuk, Anthony Duclair, Carter Verhaeghe, Brandon Montour, I could go on and on. Like, everyone's contributing to
Respect
this.
for remembering their names, dude. Like, and those are not easy names to say.
They're not easy names to say, but I recognize it because I analyze the game so much because I love playoff hockey. I just love it. And one thing that I remember Ryan Sr., I talked to him earlier about this. He said he's glad that you and I are following in the footsteps of him watching playoff hockey and enjoying it because, quite frankly, there's no better postseason than playoff hockey. End of story.
That's fair. I haven't been following it as much since, my Rangers have been out, but, it's hard, but I do like playoff hockey, right? And the good thing for hockey is I'm not as invested as I am in like basketball and football, right? So it's not like I'm just like this fan, right? Where whoever eliminates my team, I want you to lose. Where obviously I do, right? And like part of me was like the 2 teams I didn't want when I was like, I do not want the Boston Bruins winning it at all. I don't even want them sniffing the Stanley Cup Finals for the one sheer fact of I didn't want them to have the greatest team ever. And they didn't. So suck it. But obviously, the Canes losing is nice because, I don't like the Canes. But I don't know. The playoff hockey, it's fun. And obviously, what's cool, right, is the Golden Knights, right? A team that literally, and we saw around before, the Seattle Kraken. These are 2 teams that came in no less than 5 years ago. And And you can say like that's a quick turnaround. But in hockey, I don't know, Matt. So do you know how all these teams, like these new expansion teams, get their players?
How do they do that? Expansion draft?
It's not a draft. It's kind of actually sick. And I actually feel bad for the other teams, right? So what happens is I think each team gets like maybe like 3 protections that they can throw on players, right? And then once they do that, the new teams like the Kraken or the Knights can take a player from every team.
Wow.
That's not protected. So that's why this is just so good. But again, what teams will do is it's kind of smart. Is if teams are in salary cap trouble or something, they won't protect guys on bad contracts. So they're like,
Yeah.
you could take them because they don't have a salary. Like, so it's smart, but like it's not a draft. So these like new GMs and everything have a chance to know, okay, like these are the best players. Let me just take them all.
Wow, that's amazing.
But it's pretty cool though, seeing all these new teams going as far as they do.
I know the Kraken really got me crazy because I love the name. That's number one. Number two, it's good to see
That is pretty sick.
guys like Philip Grubauer was like a really really good goalie in the postseason, and I wanted to see the Kraken advance to play the Vegas Golden Knights. So that way you have the two youngest teams in the NHL going up against each other. But obviously the Dallas Stars had to ruin that. Loro, if you had to pick clutch or lucky, what would you describe the Florida Panthers as?
Lucky. I mean,
Lucky.
This team is, I don't watch hockey, but, this team
Yeah.
is just hungry. I mean, they came back from a 3-1 deficit.
In Boston. They did against Boston. They came back 3-1 to Boston in that series, and they pulled it off against the best team of the century.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff.
And then,
All right.
what's crazy, Matty, too, is as we all know, right, hockey is a lot of the teams are Canada-based teams, and there are none in the playoffs anymore with the fall of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I think that's pretty. I think that's interesting though, because a lot of people, right, and a lot of people are saying this is the Maple Leafs year, and I feel because you've heard about the Toronto Maple Leafs, right, man? How much they've choked
in the first round of the playoffs,
dude, it's been bad, and everyone's like, oh, since they got out and the way they got out, they're like, oh, and then they got smoked.
By the Panthers.
Smoked. That was I'm like, wow, all right, the Panthers are back. Because I thought the Maple Leafs were going to come out. Once I saw the Rangers were gone and the Bruins were gone, I'm like, oh, this might be the Maple Leafs' chance. They got a pretty easy bracket going to the Stanley Cup. And they got smoked absolutely cooked by the Panthers. And that was when I was like, yo.
That should have been a sweep.
Well, that was when I'm like, wow, the Panthers are back.
Wow, unbelievable. Oh my God. So the Stanley Cup playoffs, as of now, they start on June 3rd. That's a week from Saturday. So we're still waiting on the Golden Knights to conclude their series with the Dallas Stars, but the all likelihood is they'll probably conclude that series tomorrow against the Dallas Stars. And the Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup Finals. Big congratulations to them. They deserve it. But now we're going to jump to the NFL. There's a big story coming out of the NFL. And oh my God. You can see it right here. DeAndre Hopkins has been released by the Arizona Cardinals.
About time.
The Cardinals were going to try and trade him, but then that obviously didn't work out because his contract was too big, so they just flat out released him. The question is...
But they ate so much money.
They did eat so much money.
What was it, 22.6?
$22.6 million a year.
Ridiculous.
They ate a lot of money from that contract, and they released him. Kind of like a worse Kenny Galladay situation.
You know what it is, Maddie? They see somebody, and they want him. And that guy is Caleb. They see him, and they want him. Because they're like, DeAndre, he can win us games. See ya. Kyler, he's hurt. See ya. Like, they're just like, all right. They're like, Paris Johnson, you cannot win us games. Draft you. Like, they drafted everybody that cannot win them games single-handedly so they can get Caleb. I'm just telling you that right now.
I don't think the Cardinals are getting Caleb Williams. Kyler Murray's coming back at some point.
Dude, they're bad. They're a bad football team in a good division. But that's a story for another day, Laura.
All right, so Laura, let me ask you a question. What happens for DeAndre Hopkins now? Where does he end up?
I would like to see him on a playoff team, honestly. I would like to see him play with Patrick Mahomes.
No, shut up. Shut up. Don't say
I would like to see him.
Let him speak.
Or
don't say
I would like him to be with New England Patriots because
I knew it. Here he goes.
Oh my God! So the Patriots, the Chiefs. I heard a report that the Eagles were up there as well. Please don't happen. Please.
Don't go to Buffalo. I saw Bob Miller today tweet out the odds. I was like, don't do it. Don't do it.
All right, Ryan. If you had to pick where DeAndre Hopkins goes, where do you think he ends up?
Not the Bills, the Chiefs, the Bengals, the Eagles. They're not like honestly. What team do I think he's gonna go to?
Yeah.
Based off of what DeAndre Hopkins has been alluding to, is he's not ring chasing. He wants money. And I don't know if the term ring chasing means that he's going to go to like the Chiefs on a vet minimum. I don't think he's going to do that. I
No.
think he's going to want to get kind of like what Odell got, kind of like
Okay.
1 year, like anywhere from like 10 to 15 mil, kind of like a prove it deal. But he's going to want to go to a good team. But like, I definitely don't think like he's going to like the Chiefs or the Bills on like whatever it is, like a vet min, like 1 year, 1.5. Like, he's not going to do that.
Mhm.
And like, if I could see a team on the cusp that I think could go for him, let me just say this first. I think the Ravens are pissed that they got Odell and now see Hopkins cut. They're like, really?
Yeah.
But honestly, dude, like, I know, Laura, you're gonna love it. It pains me to say I do think he's gonna go to the Patriots. I do. I think Bill's gonna shell out the money. I think he's gonna. I don't know how his relationship with Bill O'Brien is, but I think it's okay, and I think he's gonna go to New England. I really do, Maddie, and it pains me to my core to say it.
Look at the little smile Loro has on his face.
I see it.
That.
It pains me to my core.
Loro's got a little smile on his face after Ryan admitted he's probably going to the Patriots.
Every fiber, Maddie, in my being, it hurts right now. To say
now, I think this will help our offense, but I'm telling you that I think the Jets,
they don't have money.
Why do they not have money?
They got to rework Aaron Rodgers and they got to pay Quinnen.
Yeah, I think they can find that out, but I still think the Jets.
I would
like if the Jets were better than my Patriots.
No, I would like it. Well, no, I would like it. The only way I would see that doing is if, and it could work, right? But like, it depends on how much Hopkins wants. Because right now, if I'm a Jet fan, I'm like, if you're telling me essentially I can get Corey Davis or DeAndre Hopkins, because Corey Davis has a $10 million cap hit.
Yeah.
If I could give Hopkins a 1 year, $10 million contract, I'm all in. I just don't think Hopkins is going to want $10 million. I think he's going to want more.
No, he's not going to want $10 million. That's just not.
But if you could tell me like Hopkins will come here for 10 mil, I'll be like, yeah, I mean, Corey Davis and DeAndre Hopkins. Sorry, buddy. But like, yeah. Corey Davis,
now
see you later.
Now let me ask you a question. I'm pretty sure the highest average annual value for a receiver is Odell with 18 million, correct?
Isn't it Tyreek?
I think it's Tyreek. Oh yeah. He got that big contract from Miami. That's right.
I think it's Tyreek.
Yeah, so it's probably Tyreek Hill. Now I'm gonna be biased here, and I said this in the Siriani Sports chat.
I know. I saw. It makes sense.
Please go to the Giants. DeAndre
makes
Hopkins.
Sense. The only
because
thing is,
the Giants need a receiver to really help their offense out. I know they got Darren Waller, but that's a tight end. Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Isaiah Hodgins. Those are not really the types of receivers that you need to help you win, to help you contend for a championship. So what I'm going to tell you right now is we need a receiving core and build the foundation of it. If DeAndre Hopkins wants, I think, 15, 16 million for 2 years, so you're giving him 30, 36, 32 million. I think the Giants can give him that. I think the Giants can afford that. And because Daniel Jones and the Giants are in a good position right now in the NFC, I can see DeAndre Hopkins going there. And plus, I think Brian Dable would utilize him tremendously.
Well, I'm trying to. What is the tweet that I saw? Hold on.
So we're gonna get a tweet from Ryan to see what the prognosis is surrounding DeAndre Hopkins.
Where is it? Hold on.
But he'll get signed in a matter of days. It doesn't matter because DeAndre Hopkins is one of the top receivers in the game.
Yeah, so it's basically saying the three things on DeAndre Hopkins' wish list is a contending team, stable quarterback and front office,
okay,
and decent cap room. So he essentially wants money. He wants to be on a contending team, and he wants stability as in the quarterback position and the front office.
Well, boom, there you go.
Which I think narrows it down to the teams we said, right? Because I don't think he's going to want to go to like any bottom feeder. The only thing, Maddie, that would deter me from the Giants, right, with DeAndre Hopkins is if you're DeAndre Hopkins and you're looking at Daniel Jones and you're saying, okay, Daniel Jones compared to Kyler Murray, is that a booming upgrade or is it a kind of a lateral step? I don't know how to comment on that because you saw Hopkins went from Watson to Kyler. Obviously, he went to a big drop off, right?
Yeah.
And if you're DeAndre Hopkins and you're sitting there like, okay, I want a quarterback better than Kyler Murray. Is Daniel Jones much better than Kyler Murray? I don't know. Or if you're DeAndre Jones, you want to go play with Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, right? Insert insert any like contending team. Lamar Jackson, right? Like it's just going to depend on what DeAndre Hopkins thinks of Daniel Jones. But outside of that, I think the Giants are very attractive.
The Giants are an attractive offer. I would really, really, really hate it if he goes to the Chiefs. Really hate it.
It's just going to depend on, like you said, if he signs there for less than $10 million, I'll be pissed.
Yeah, because it's like, bro, you left and you were making so much more money in Arizona. Why would you leave for a smaller contract? Because that is ring chasing right there. That is ring chasing.
Well, that's what it is, and it's like, I don't know, but it's not even a smaller contract because now you know that because the Cardinals have to eat that, Hopkins is getting that money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was shocked when they said Hopkins wants money because essentially Hopkins is getting paid $23 million this year from the Cardinals. So essentially, if he wanted to ring chase, he would be making he would be on a 1 year, $25 million contract.
Good point.
Essentially, but so that's why I guess he really wants to cash the hell in then, which I respect because as you and Laura both know, right? I'm always for the players, and I'm always for the players getting their money because that's just football's a rough sport. So I'm all for Hopkins with that. It's just I don't know. Like I'm gonna be pissed at a lot of teams, including the Jets, if Hopkins signs with like the Chiefs or the Bills for like less than $10 million.
That'd be crazy. All right, we'll have to see what happens with DeAndre Hopkins, but I'm going to do a quick little thing as we go into our next little topic. So we are going to go into the playoff update for 2023. We are 1/3 of the season in, and as most of you know, we're heading into June. This is the enticing month in Major League Baseball, where you can see all the teams and how they're doing at this point in the year. So here's how this is going to go. I'm going to give you the playoff update, meaning that I'm going to tell you who's in the playoffs right now if the season were to end today, and we're going to go over our surprises as well as who's really stands out. So we're going to go over the American League first. Obviously, first place are the Tampa Bay Rays, but not too far behind them as a wild card team are their division rival, the Baltimore Orioles. They're a wild card team. And then you got the Texas Rangers as division champion at this moment by a few games over the Astros. The Minnesota Twins are playing a terrible division, but they're the leaders of it. The wild cards, like I said before, the Baltimore Orioles have the top wild card spot. The Yankees have the second wild card spot, and the Houston Astros have the third wild card spot. A game behind them are the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. I know people don't call them the Anaheim Angels anymore, but I just love saying that name. But this is how the standings work out. Ryan, are you surprised by any of the standings at this moment in time in the American League?
Outside of the Rangers, not really. I just think the Rangers, to me, I know, right, with them acquiring, right, Marcus Semien last year and Corey Seager last year, right, and then Jacob deGrom this year, obviously, is their big splash. But, like, the Rangers never, like, came to me as, like, anybody that can – like, I thought, like, through and through, and I still think that the Astros are going to end up winning that division. But I never thought that there was a team that could even come close to them. Maybe I thought Seattle would be better than they have been. But I always thought this is the Astros division, like, for the next, like, 5+ years, I think. But honestly, I'm a little surprised with how they've been because I'm honestly shocked that Jacob deGrom hasn't gotten hurt yet. That's kind of my main, like, thing. I think he's kind of kept them in a lot of these games. Right? But I think the rest of it just goes to show. But I think, Maddie, the Baltimore Orioles, man, they're coming. They have made some shots. Obviously, we just watched them take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees, right?
Yeah.
Shouldn't have. But, you know, game 2 the Yankees should have won. But whatever. But, like, not the Orioles, like, this it just shows, dude, in, like, all sports, right? If you suck for so long, you're eventually going to turn it around.
Yeah.
You see the Orioles, they've had so many young prospects come up over the years, right? They have Rutschman, they have Mountcastle, they have Henderson, they have Santander, they have Mullins. Like, they have all these guys, right, that they've been grooming in their farm system that they've picked with top picks because they've sucked for so many years. And eventually, you're going to turn it around. And this is what we've seen happen with the Baltimore Orioles. And the thing is, which makes them very attractive, is they do not have a high payroll at all.
No, they do not. Loro, I mentioned you mentioned the Orioles quite a bit on our sister show, Talking Sports with Loro. That are you surprised the Orioles are doing so well?
Not necessarily. I knew that this was coming, that they were going to start balling out, and I know that this team has a good young core that they're going to build their future around. And everybody used to predict the Baltimore Orioles would lose 100 games each year, but look at them now. They're doing well in a really good division. and you got a lot of winning teams in that division because of this whole balanced schedule that the MLB's implemented, which I'm a big fan of.
That's right. That's right. Now, as far as the overall standings go in the American League, Loro, are you surprised with any names in the top? Are you surprised the Angels are keeping pace with the Astros?
Well, the Angels, I mean, they're keeping up with the Angels. They have to do this to make Shohei happy. But if they don't want to pay him, I think they could still trade him at the deadline, which I kind of think they can get something in return, but
Something? You mean a whole franchise?
It could happen. It could happen.
I mean, we saw what Juan Soto went for. Bro, Otani's got to be double that, maybe triple.
Loro, what do you think?
possibly, I don't know.
Dude, I know you guys have seen the mock contracts for Otani. Have you seen some of them?
I've seen some.
It's like 10 years, like 800 millers. It's something ridiculous. Because there's some charts, right? And because there's two contracts, right? For Otani. One as an ace, and his ace contract, I think it's, what is it? I think it's like 8 years, like 400 million or something. And then as a hitter, it's like 10 years, like 550 or something ridiculous. I don't even know if teams know how to factor like how much you pay him, how much you trade for him. Like, I don't know, dude.
It's crazy. It really is. Like, he's a commodity financially that you have to have, but it's going to be impossible to give him what he deserves.
Like the Angels, though, it's like they have three superstars, but they just don't play like all on a high level. Like, you have Trout, you have Otani, and you have Rendon, but like, I feel like they should be better than they are. Again, their pitching does suck, right? But I know, Maddie, I know it warms my heart and it warms your heart, right? To see the Toronto Blue Jays just suck. They have so much talent, right? I would argue the Blue Jays on paper have more talent than the Yankees, and they're just they can't do it.
And they're in last place in the division.
The freaking Red Sox, man. They're behind the Boston Red Sox, who have one guy. They have Rafi Big Scoops, and that's it. And these Blue Jays, they got Vlad Jr., they got Bichette, they got Chapman, they got Springer, they got Kirk, they got everybody, and they suck.
Terrible.
And then also, the MLB should be ashamed, by the way, right?
Why?
The MLB should be ashamed. The fact that the AL East has all 5 teams over 500, and then you look at some other godforsaken divisions, like the AL Central. Ugh. You look at some other divisions, like the Central, ugh, the NL East, ugh, like, and you're just sitting there and you just do the math, and you're like, the Blue Jays, who are a game above 500, are in second in the AL Central, right? They're in fourth. All right, fair enough. They'd be in fourth in like the West. But, like, there's some divisions, too, where the Blue Jays would be, like, top 2 in their division. Yeah. Which, to me, is disgusting, right? And they're last in the AL East. And, like, what's crazy, right, is the Yankees have a record, right, of 30-22. And to put that into perspective, the 2 best teams in the National League, the Atlanta Braves and the LA Dodgers, right? The Dodgers are 31-20, and the Braves are 31-19. That is, give or take, 2 games better than the Yankees. And the Yankees are in third. Third, because the freaking Rays want to have the best start in MLB history at 37-50.
37-15.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. They've got the best record in the NL, and they're still 7 games back. How is that possible? How is that actually possible?
It's insane. When you start 13-0, you're bound to have a good season.
So stupid.
All right, now we're going to go to the National League standings right now. The Atlanta Braves surprisingly have the best record in the National League right now. The Dodgers are a half game behind them. Good news for Loro. Then the Milwaukee Brewers are the third best division winner right now at 27-23. And then the wild card teams. This is a surprise. The Arizona Diamondbacks are the top wild card team in the National League, followed by the Pittsburgh Pirates and the New York Mets, who started off slow, but they've rebounded ever since that series against the Tampa Bay Rays where they took 2 of 3. So I'm going to put this into perspective, Laurel, and I think you know probably better than I do. The Rays are playing the Dodgers right now in their losing right now. But
Yeah, they're getting creamed right now. I mean, Noah Syndergaard is kind of getting creamed too in this outing.
Who did
Yeah.
also who won that series between the Braves and the Dodgers? The Braves won 2 out of 3.
The Dodgers won 2 out of 3.
Okay, I had the wrong way.
So the Dodgers won 2 out of 3, but they're still a half game behind. Yeah, not great for the Dodgers at this moment, but they are holding their ground. They're in second place. So if the playoffs started today, they would have a first round bye. But Loro, any of these Western Conference, any of these National League standings surprise you? Obviously, the Diamondbacks are a big name.
Oh my gosh, they weren't supposed to be up there. I mean, the Padres were supposed to be toe to toe with us, but the Padres are just playing so bad right now that they might. I mean, it's early, but a lot of people might panic on the Padres because of how bad they are right now. But I do think that the Padres can find a way to pick it up, though.
They should.
And as far as the Pittsburgh Pirates go, it's a feel-good story, but they're not going to have O'Neal Cruz for a long time. And I feel like that the bottom might fall out for the Pittsburgh Pirates. The Mets, they took them a long time to get going, but there they are, 51 games in, and they're already in the third wildcard spot. And if you look at the division overall in the National League East, they're 5.5 games behind the Braves. But we've seen this happen before, the reverse effect, when the Mets were up by 5 or 10 games early in the year, and then they collapsed the lead, and the Braves won the division. The opposite could happen.
I would doubt that for the Mets. For one reason. Baseball is a long, long season. And the Mets got some old pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
And what I will say, right, and the Mets, respect to them, right? They got a spark by calling up their rookies, right? Francisco Alvarez, Brett Beatty, and what's the other guy's name? What's his name? The kid they just called up. The one that hit home run his first night.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever his name is. I forget his name.
Yeah.
But, like, they got what's that, Maddie?
No, go ahead.
Oh, no. So they called up those 3 rookies. They kind of got a spark. Well, like, we all got to face it, right? Met fans, you got to face it. You guys have been getting hard carried by Pete Alonso. Pete Alonso has won them at least 5 games this year. At least. Within their hot streak, Pete Alonso's been them at least 5 games. He hit the grand slam, the 1 game to take the lead over the Rays. He's had like 3 game-winning or home runs. Like, the guy, to all due respect, has been insane, right? He is the home run leader right now in the MLB, but like to the Mets, right? If God forbid Verlander or Scherzer get hurt again, right? And Pete cools down a little bit, and these rookies cool down a little bit, they're going to be back in the same spot. And I don't know what it is for the Mets, but I think that the magic that they had last year, I think it ran out because I know we always talk about the Yankees, right? And I don't think the Yankees are in the best of spots because the Yankees, very much like the Mets, have been getting carried by their superstar home run hitter and Aaron Judge, right? And if any of these 2 guys slow down in Judge or Alonso, the New York teams are in a bad spot.
Yeah, they're not in the best of playoff spots either, but you also mentioned the Yankees really quick. Harrison Bader's actually been doing his part, and Anthony Volpe's up and down, but it is what it is. So if you had to pick right now, first of all, let me just get this quick question out of the way because we got to get to the end of it. Can anyone challenge the Rays at this moment in time? Loro, can anyone challenge the Rays?
Ooh, I could say it's Houston. I mean, the Astros are starting to get it together, but
They are.
The Rays are just.
The Rays are the Rays.
The Rays are destined to potentially win a World Series the way they're playing right now. But the thing about the Rays is it's their lack of experience in the playoffs that comes in.
Right. That's a good point. Ryan, can anyone challenge the Rays? Anyone?
I agree with Laura with the Astros because now they got the mighty midget back in Jose Altuve, right? But I mean, I'll throw a different team out there, and I know they're in last right now, right? But if there's a team, right, that you look on paper, player for player, star for star, that can challenge the Rays, it's the Toronto Blue Jays. I know they're in last, so pump the brakes, right? But I'm saying when both teams play their best, I mean, I think the Blue Jays, talent-wise, are a top 3 to 5 team in the American League. Just talent, right? Because, again, you look to the whole infields. You have Vlad Jr., you have Bichette, you have With Merrifield, you have Matt Chapman, you have George Springer, you have they are loaded. Their pitching staff, they have what's his name, Drew Roseman. I
Drew
can't say.
Rasmussen.
Yeah, Rasmussen. They have the other guy. Why am I forgetting his name?
Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan,
No, not
Taj
Tampa.
Bradley.
Not Tampa. Toronto.
Toronto. Oh, they got Manoah.
Manoah. That's the guy. Manoah, Chris Bassett, Jose Barrios. I'm saying, if a team that can click, right, and get hot at the right time, I think the Blue Jays have a real damn good shot to challenge the Rays in a best-of-7 series. But again, they got to get there. They got to earn it. But outside of the Astros, because I think the Astros are the number one team that can challenge them, I think the Blue Jays got a close second shot.
You got to remember the Toronto Blue Jays put up 20 runs against the Rays not too long ago. They put up a 20 spot.
No, they can hit the Blue Jays, and they can usually pitch. But their bullpen, but they can hit. They can hit with anybody, and their pitchers on the right day can pitch with anybody.
Yeah, I think the Rays can. I think there's a path for the Rays to easily win the title, but I am not going to be surprised if I say this. I think the Orioles can challenge them. The Orioles are the closest thing to the Rays right now. I know there was a series where the Rays and Orioles played, and the Rays swept the Orioles, but give the team more time to nurture, get the team more experience in this young core in Baltimore, and maybe if these two teams met in the postseason, I think Baltimore can beat them. I think Baltimore can flat out beat the Rays.
You know what I'll say? And it may be the Orioles closer, whatever. Oh, what's his Batista? That dude is crazy. Matty, I was watching him. That guy throws gas, and that guy is good. So, if the Orioles can get it to that guy, they're in a good spot. It's just getting to him is the issue. But I think they're just too young and too inexperienced. I think this Rays team, right, with their pitching staff, with McClanahan, with Glass now, hopefully going to get healthy at some point, right? I don't know. I think they're going to be. I think the fact that they lost Rasmussen. Yeah, Rasmussen they're in a bad spot, right? Same thing with Jeffrey Springs, but I think, obviously, as deserved, they are the best team in the American League still.
They do deserve it. All right, now, before we go to our sponsors and conclude the show, I just want to say, all right, we're not going to have our special guest on, but for those of you who are unaware, we're having the Siriani SSS Sports Fantasy Football League this year, coming up in August or September, late August or early September, and this is what's on the line. This right here is the Siriani SSS Sports.
Let me full screen you, Matty. Hold on. There it is. Go.
There it is. Let me back up a little bit. There we go. This is the belt. This is what's on the line.
There you go.
So, all right, give me on a full screen, please.
Yeah.
Give me on a full screen, please. This belt is what's on the line. The person who wins this belt is going to be the champion of the Fantasy Football League. And right now you're looking at the defending champion. I'm going to defend my title successfully and carry this thing with me.
All right, Matty. All right. You know what, Matty? Again, like I said, Matty, the best trash talk is the ones that can talk while they're high, but especially while they're down, Matty. So you keep that same energy, buddy.
All right. And I also want to give a shout out to the person who made the belt, by the way, because this belt looks really, really cool.
No, it is sick.
It's a cool looking belt. I want to give a shout out to the guy who was supposed to come on here, but he couldn't come on, but I'll promote him anyway. His name is Mark Maceris, also known as Newology. He's a wrestling YouTuber. He plays wrestling games on his channel. He has over 30,000 subscribers. He creates belts. He gives out cards. He gives out Funkos. He gives out a lot of prizes on his channel. If you want to learn more about Newology or Mark, go to his channel, Newology again. You just participate in these fantasy matches, and then if your superstar wins enough matches, you can win prizes. And what happened was for the month of May, I won the heavyweight championship belt for the month of May. I'm going to use this belt for the Siriani SSS Sports Fantasy League because, one, it's a good-looking belt, and two, I didn't want anything other than a trophy. I didn't want a trophy this year. I feel like a trophy is a good thing to have, but it's not something that you can wave in front of people's faces and gloating. So I competed for the championship belt. I got it. And now what's going to happen is we're going to fight for this belt. I know your dad, Ryan, says
It's coming home, Matty. It'll be a Barragers this year. It's coming.
There's a 1 in 4 chance that a Behringer could win the title this year.
It's coming home, Maddie. It is coming home.
Because Ryan has this beef with me that I won the league last year in the most ridiculous of
No,
ways.
it is dumb. It is dumb, but yeah, it is dumb. But whatever. I can't beat Derek. I lost Derek 3 freaking times. Stupid. I played Derek 3 times. Lost him 3 times. Maddie plays him.
Time.
Stupid. It's all right. It's all right.
Loro, what do you think of the belt?
I think I like it. It's a really good belt there.
It's gonna stay on this podcast, Maddie. It's gonna be yours. It's gonna be mine.
Okay, I think we'll see. I'm gonna try and see if I can get Mark on the show and have him talk about his channel, but he was obviously busy today. But anyways, subscribe to Mark Viserys Newology if you haven't already. 30,000 subscribers. Really good guy. Awesome content creator. Puts up a good time. It's a good time on the streams. And he actually has a title belt coming up in June that he'll be giving away. So stay tuned for that. Again, Mark Viserys. You can follow him on Facebook even. Yeah, Mark Viserys Newology. Subscribe to him today. But this is what's on the line. And now for our sponsors to conclude the show, because we've gotten to that point. So, Siriani Sports is sponsored by the following. I'm going to use the, this time, the banners to help him with that.
What about the brands, Maddie? What about the brands?
And the brands too. Okay, so we'll start off with the following. All right, so I'll take care of the banners. Ryan, you want to take care of the brands?
Yeah.
Okay, so our first sponsor is DAS Technology Consulting, simplifying technology. Our second sponsor is Valix Enterprises, building projects for success. Our third sponsor is Jag1 Physical Therapy, official therapy provider for the teams you love. Our fourth sponsor is the Grace Foundation of New York, support, empower, educate, enhance. Our fifth sponsor is Outback Steakhouse in Middletown, Aussie Rules. Then we have the Integrated Planning Group, client-focused, device-driven. And where's Rocco's Original Italian Ices here? There it is. Rocco's Original Italian Ices. A sweet summertime treat all year around. Perfect. So, that is how we do it. 2 minutes left in the show. Awesome time hanging out with you guys. It's unfortunate we couldn't get Mark on. I wanted him to talk about his channel for a little bit, but obviously it's okay. We are on the Facebook, the YouTube, the Instagram, all this stuff. And also we have our sister show, Talking Sports with Loro and Matt, every Saturday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. Right, Loro?
Yep.
And we're going to have the show again. And also I want to thank Crimson Rise and the Grace Foundation of New York. Our previous episode for Talking Sports with Loro and Matt is on their site. It's a tribute to Nicholas Diamora, who passed away of a seizure early last week. Our thoughts and prayers are with him. But Ryan, describe our socials.
Yes. So clear the throat first. All right, we're good. So if you like what you see and you want to follow the three of us, you can follow us obviously on YouTube right here at Siriani Sports. You can follow us on Facebook at Siriani Sports. You can follow us on Instagram at Siriani Sports. You can follow us on Twitter at Siriani Sports. You can follow the two of these fine gentlemen on Twitter Spaces. You can watch Talking Sports with Lower or Matt. Go on Spaces, type in Talking Sports with Lower or Matt. You can find them. Or, Matt, I think you can link it onto your thing. I think you can tweet it out on our thing. I think you can.
Yeah. You can also watch Talking Sports with Lower or Matt on Facebook as well. We have our own Facebook page as
yes. Well. And you can also tweet it on the Twitter. So, again, you can find their links there. But, again, appreciate you guys for watching. Maddie, we almost have 125 freaking episodes of this damn show.
That's
crazy.
And also
one
quick thing to add on really quick before we get going. Talking Sports with Loro and Matt is also not just the only thing Loro and I do. We're going to be calling NFL games this season on Twitter Spaces, so get ready for that. But from Loro Antonio and Ryan Barrett Jr., I'm Matt Siriani. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to tonight's episode. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you to Jim and Viv Sorrentino for allowing me to stay in their house for tonight's episode. Thank you so much. Love you all. Take care. And, of course, peace out.
Have a great